Dion was born March 30th of 1968 in Charlemagne, Quebec, Canada. She's of French-Canadian heritage, and the family can trace their roots back to French settlers in the region. Talk about starting young. Justin Bieber, watch out. Celine is right there with you. She started at the age of 12 in 1981, recording her first album, and her rise to fame was a swift one. Celine Dion is the youngest of her 14 siblings. Always had a passion for singing, she said, from the time she was really young. It's always been her greatest love is singing and performing live on stage for people. She gets a thrill out of this. And obviously that thrill is manifested in all the awards that this woman has won. Now, the thing that really puzzles me is how she got with Renee at such a young age. Now, she does have 3 children. She has Renee, Charles, and then her twins, Nelson and Eddie. The situation around her and her husband, Renee Angelil, has always been one that's concerning to me. There might be a reason why they call it a bride and groom. The word grooming comes to mind when I think of a man marrying somebody he met when she was only 12. He met her when she was 12. And he was 38 at that point and became her manager. Then he launched a career for her and began a romantic relationship with her, apparently when she was 19. And then they married December 17th, 1994, when Celine was 26 years old. And Renee at that time was already 52. I want you to know that this is estimated to affect approximately 1 to 2 people per million worldwide. And it says that this means that the total number of people affected by stiff person syndrome is likely in the thousands globally. What are the odds that Celine Dion, the famed celebrity singer, well known for My Heart Will Go On and The Power of Love and all these songs that are just well known musician, one of the greatest vocalists, I would say, of our time, along there with Aretha Franklin and Whitney Houston and many others, but she's one of the greatest. And for her to be affected by this neurological disorder, it's interesting. So I want you to watch a couple clips now to see what was said in the interview. We'll talk about it next.
Also tell the world what's happening. I had a proof of what's going on with me, and I'm not going to say sinus infection.
It was time to tell the world what she'd been going through for almost 20 years.
I've been diagnosed with a very rare neurological disorder called the stiff person syndrome. This is what's been causing all of the spasms that I've been having. Every aspect of my daily life, sometimes causing difficulties when I walk and not allowing me to use my vocal cords to sing the way I'm used to.
Celine sought out the help of a team of specialists, including neurologist Amanda Piquet, who's based at the University of Colorado and is an expert on SPS.
The episodic muscle spasms are often triggered by various things, including stress. That can be a good or bad emotional stress. So it could be doing something you love, such as singing, and we can see those muscle spasms come out.
Ironically, the very thing that brings Celine so much joy can trigger severe pain. While there is no cure for SPS, Celine's doctor says it is treatable.
You need to look at the whole person in terms of treatment. So immune therapy is just a piece of that targets the autoimmune condition. And then in terms of symptomatic therapies, you have.
So as you saw there, she talked about the different types of treatment, but the treatment that Celine was talking about that when she didn't know what her illness was, this is what she said.
Would take, like, for example, before a performance, 20 milligrams of Valium, and then just walking from my dressing room to backstage.
What?
It was gone.
She says she was taking as much as 90 milligrams a day.
90 milligrams of Valium can kill you. You can't stop breathing. And at one point, the thing is that my body got used to it at 20 and 30 and 40 until it went up. You get used to it.
So
it doesn't work anymore. More.
Now, because of copyright, I cannot play the entire video all at once because NBC Universal will take that down. Now, what I find interesting about the interview was how much she has invested her life, her entire life, into her career, being a performer and getting on that stage and singing. Prince saying in that interview, "My mic is on and I am singing live." This is what comes to mind. Celine Dion, somebody who I can't even imagine she would want to ever lip sync to anything. And knowing that she can't use the most valuable asset, in my opinion, because that voice of hers made her millions upon millions of dollars. Not only was she ungodly rich, but like I said, she's been recognized as one of the greatest singers of all time. This is not somebody this is somebody that sung and with Barbra Streisand. In this clip I'll show you, their voices together is just, it's so powerful. It can bring people to tears.
Yes.
My brain, my personality, it was the show must go on.
Sure.
Regardless of your pain, your struggle.
Celine kept going, even as her symptoms were growing worse.
Now, before I must continue, because I have to take pauses because this is NBC's audio, I wanted to point out a couple things. When she said there, I just want to know what's wrong with me. I think that's a sentiment many of us have. So many of us are out there going from doctor to doctor, trying to figure out what's wrong. And that's the thing when you have an illness like this, that's such a rare illness. It's so, like I said, 1 in a million chances. Most doctors will poo-poo you and tell you you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. It's in your head. You're just dealing with stress and anxiety and you just need a rest. And a lot of times, for women especially, it's really hard for us advocating because a lot of these doctors nowadays will just dismiss you. You could go in with these symptoms and there's a million other things that it can be. So narrowing down these illnesses and trying to pinpoint what's wrong with a person is very taxing. And could you imagine what that is for a lot of people out there that don't have Celine Dion money, that don't have millions of dollars sitting in the bank, that they can go from doctor to doctor. And that part, I'm like, thankfully she's somebody that made a lot of money and is being given the right treatments, because that's really what I want to show you guys, a little bit of what I found on the internet, people who are living with stiff person syndrome. And
the SPS got me good this morning. I woke up screaming, literally from a dead sleep, just instant scream. The Charlie horse situation takes over and my muscles cramp up and everything hurts, and sometimes heat helps.
So the thing about SPS that I find interesting, and I've been researching about it, is it varies. There's some people that are living with it and getting on, and other people that it's crippling them and it's debilitating to the point they have no life. Their life is SPS. They're living with it, and some of them have even passed away. Like this woman I used to follow on this app on TikTok, and it says, if you see this, I have passed away. You want to term this as the symptoms manifesting, move much time on screen, noises, temperature changes, a lot of stimuli. These can trigger this for her, and it just becomes so like the pain that she would be in. And I believe a lot of her videos are still on this app, because Huda Kotb, when she was talking to Celine Dion, said, just explain to me what this feels like. Celine Dion said it feels like someone is strangling you. And the way she described her voice by singing out a key, and the key was off, it did not sound like Celine Dion at all. So
And then I could not go back up. If you go up, you better take a good look, because you're going to go up just one time tonight. But I have 25 songs to sing.
So I only can imagine what that must have been like for her, having to explain that, the one thing I want to do, I can't do, because even the singing alone triggers it and makes it harder for me. And then I end up with muscle spasms as a result. And it sounds like these muscle spasms, the way that one person in the first video I showed you was describing it, is similar to Charlie horses, like your muscles just tightening and seizing up on you. And in some cases can even break a bone. It's so strong, as Celine Dion said in that interview. And I'm going to show you one more video of another gentleman on this app and how he describes it.
Being in the car with clothes on was horrifically painful. Spasming, my neck spasmed, my pelvis, my I remember thinking, just please get me home so I can go to bed.
So as you saw there, that gentleman is on TikTok and he talks about his disorder quite a lot. His channel has lots of videos. I'm shocked he only has like 600 and something followers. It's because he tries his best to share his daily activities and how he gets on. And it's heartbreaking, to say the least. Here's the thing I hope is going to happen, that Celine Dion will get the treatment to this. She will figure out what the treatments are and share that with the rest of the world. Because a lot of times celebrities get preferential treatment. I'm not trying to say that to sound mean or anything. I love the singer. This is one of my favorite singers of all time. I think about even my mother. When my nephew was born, my mother invested in that stem cell research stuff. And I kept thinking to myself, is that supposed to be good? Is that something good? And she's like, yeah, if anything happens, they can use the stem cell from his umbilical cord, saving him and helping him with, with illnesses in the future. And I'm sure these celebrities have access to stuff. I don't know what those things might be, but I feel like they held back a lot and they just told us the stuff we wanted to hear. Like, listen to this.
In terms of treatment, so immune therapy is just a piece of that targets the autoimmune condition. And then in terms of symptomatic therapies, you have pharmacologic.
It's not the way when I see Celine Dion, she's so put together. She's so poised. She's always so brave, like she says, that even at her thinnest, when she was going through all of this, she disguised it well, because this is Hollywood after all. This is the celebrity world. These people can walk around looking thin like this and losing weight, and we just think Ozempic, we think weight loss drugs, we think they're just on a binge, maybe they're doing drugs. Our mind goes to craziest places when we see celebrities like this. And I hope out of this, it'll give us a pause when we see people maybe losing weight rapidly or gaining weight rapidly, or anything happening to them physically, changing their appearance, that will give pause to people to think, hey, maybe there's a health issue going on here. And we shouldn't be so quick to judge. Because I'll be honest, when I saw this years ago, her losing weight like this, I thought it was it was a result of her and her husband passing away, and her having some major depression. And who knows, maybe the depression that she went through did trigger this stiff person syndrome to really just like more vigorous through her body. I'm not a doctor, so forgive my words. But my point is, who knows if the stress that she went through didn't create more of the symptoms coming to the forefront. Because it does not sound, and hear me out, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a medical person. I think sometimes there's a lot of underlying illness in people. Many of us have things that can be triggered, and it's like waiting there in the background. And once something life-threatening or life-changing happens, it is triggered. That's truly what I believe. Cancer, things like that, are all the body speaking how it feels. If you hold on to a lot of stress and anger and frustration, I think it weakens the body. That's truly what I believe. If your body starts to break down because of the stress, the anxiety, the unknown,
To feel that the body was like getting more rigid, more stiff.
From city to city, concert to concert, doctor to doctor.
Every time I went to see a doctor, after so many years of living in like the unknown, I hoped, looking at the doctor, please find something.
So I thought that's what was happening. But now that she has a diagnosis, what she does next is insane, because how? Like, she was still performing up to this point. She's definitely coping with this, but it does make me wonder, because if that's what they were doing to kind of help her, it just makes me wonder, are these celebrities really getting the best treatments? Are they? Or is that just a myth that a lot of people think? I do know people who have gone and had, seen doctors that are celebrities, and they do get better treatment in the sense that if a doctor needs to see them right away, they have the number on speed dial. Doctor will make concessions for them quicker than a regular person because they're a celebrity, and the doctors themselves do want to work with these people. Trust me on this. Don't ask me how I know. I also feel like just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean that if They don't have the cure to something that you're just going to somehow miraculously be the person that helps them get to the cure, if that makes sense. I don't know. She wants to do a comeback. She wants to be able to sing on stage once again. And I'm thinking, girl, if I were you, I would take a break. I would focus on just relaxing and enjoying your life. I understand that this is your lifeblood, but I've seen so many videos of other people in the world lose, whatever it is that they were gifted with, and they somehow find a way to do other things, like to be able to achieve other goals, even though that part of them is gone. Personality Celine Dion has. She has the personality of a warrior, a person that will continue to battle until she dies. That's the kind of energy she gives. And I think she's a great mother
To live with.
For me to be a mom, it's my biggest reward.
But there's a lot of conflicting views on her on the internet, a lot of conspiracy theories, a lot of things put out about her. And guess what? The Hollywood industry, the celebrity industry, they do get a lot of heat because they are part of in my opinion, a satanic cult. Don't get me wrong on that. But I do have a soft spot and a heart. And I do understand that when things like this hit people, what is the lesson to be learned? Sometimes people are given this sort of path in life to learn something. Maybe Celine Dion, looking at your life and the breadth of work that you have had, the success you have had. Her interview made me understand that she's human, just like the rest of us. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a woman that is charismatic. She loves what she does. She loves being an entertainer. But at some level, you have to know when to say, I am done and I retire this, and I'm going to move on to doing other things. And maybe she can move forward with trying to figure out, maybe she's put here to be the person to figure out and shine light on this illness. Because I'll be honest, I wouldn't have known about any of those other people on this app had it not been for Celine Dion. And so she has shed light on something that maybe needed a light shed on it. And maybe she's going to be the person to help for people out there that are going to be suffering or will get this in the future. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a Charlie horse in my life, and even that, I'm a big crybaby. I can't even imagine the amount of pain Celine Dion is going through, and I wish her the best of luck.